Okay, my name is George Demetralis, spelled it Demetralis, and I am a pastoral assistant at Holy Apostles Greek Orthodox Church in Westchester, Illinois, and basically I teach religion. I've been doing that for 32 years. So, of course, Ankit is my student, and how long have I known you? It's got to be 4 years.
It's been a couple of years now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember what? How you started in what? 8th grade or 7th grade?
Yeah, I think it was 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah. So, and now you're a sophomore in high school. But anyway. And that's pretty much basically it as far as my background.
Right.
I'm married. I have a son. And,
all right, Mr. D. So, what kind of role do you believe your work in the church has played in your life?
Oh, a very important role. It's something I have dreamed. My dream was to become a teacher of religion, especially teaching young people, kids and young people, children and young people. I like teaching. You know, when I say young people, I would say grade school, junior high, high school. And God has answered my prayers, and I think I've achieved my goal because my students do range from grade school on up through junior high and high school.
Right.
I don't know. I think when I was in high school, I grew up in Yorkville, Illinois,
right,
which is about 40 miles from here. And when I was in high school, up until my senior year in high school, I wanted to be a scientist.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to be I thought I would be an astronaut, actually. But I loved science. I was real interested in science. That's why in high school I took all the science classes like physics, chemistry, biology,
right.
trigonometry, all that, the math. And then when I reached my senior year, it changed. I realized that I wanted to be teach people about Christ, and it worked out. I eventually went to the University of Athens in Greece and got my degree there, my degree in theology. There is a school in the United States, a theological school, but at the time, in the 60s, when I went to Greece, but at that time, the school here in the United States, which is in Brookline, Massachusetts, they only graduated men who wanted to become priests.
Oh, right.
And I couldn't become a priest because of my visual impairment. So the long and the short of it is, I would say that religion played a very important role. However, I will say that to this day, I still like science. I have an interest in science, especially meteorology.
Okay.
So I never completely lost that love for
Wow.
science.
That's very interesting. All right, Mr. D. So, how would you define success in life, personally?
Well, you know what? I think I would have to say that success is when you can be independent, be able to achieve on your own, meaning without expecting from others. In other words, that you can success would be when you can go out and choose a career,
right,
and and do your best at that career and be successful at it, meaning, you do your very best job and continue in that career. I think success isn't necessarily measured by how much money you make.
Right.
But it's measured by, I think, how productive you are in the field that you choose. And I feel that in the field I chose to teach religion, with God's help, of course, I've been productive because I've been able to teach my students. I use the computer, writing the studies and the plays and things like that, and try to be as independent as possible. I mean, obviously, we always need the help of our fellow man.
Right.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about at least being able to, produce on your own, for the most part, without, to be very blunt, without expecting handouts.
Right.
And that's it. There are so many, unfortunately, in this country and they have to live, they have to eat, and there are many blind people are unemployed. There are,
right.
And it's too bad, but they do,
What kind of challenges do you face on a daily basis in terms of just living?
Well, I think challenges, obviously, being able to meet the deadlines,
right?
Plays, getting the plays written in time, getting the lesson plans written in time, the curriculum. And of course, I think a lot of challenges is being able to deal with people.
Right.
I deal with the kids, deal with the parents, deal with my coworkers, with my employers. And of course you're dealing with your family too, your wife and son, etc. But I think the challenges are being able to do as much on my own as possible. That's why I learned the computer. I figure at least with the computer, using the computer with the voice, I can do as much, most of the work. Obviously, I still need the help of my sighted readers in editing and things like that. But most of it has already been done, by me. And you don't want to do a lot of complaining. And I think that whether you're has some sort of a disability or not, you want to try to do as much on your own and not do a lot of complaining. Oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I'm not, getting the cooperation. Well, sometimes you don't get cooperation. You have to be silent to a point. And then sometimes if you see you're being taken advantage of, and I will tell you that. I mean, even if you're sighted, you're in a job, and you try to do as much as possible on your own. But if you see if someone's taking advantage of you, or abusing you in certain ways, then you do eventually have to speak up. You just have to.
Right. A couple months ago, I spoke to Mr. Cox, who's also a member of the church you attend, and somehow the conversation swung to you, Mr. D.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that while you were blind, he believes that you see. What do you think he meant by this?
Well, obviously, when you're blind, you need to use you need to pay more attention to your other senses. Maybe the inflection of somebody's voice. You can tell if, for example, they're not happy about something, or they're angry. You know, sighted people will look at their faces and all, and be able to detect anger, sadness. You know, where I have to use my sense of hearing to hear their voice, and based on that, then I'm able to tell many times whether somebody's angry, sad.
So you use your hearing and make up for your visual.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and you use your like for example, I can tell most of the time I get used to some of my students' voices. They just speak and I know who's talking. I mean, that's not always, I mean, sometimes it depends on how often I see them and interact with them. But usually I'm able to tell, who's talking and et cetera. So, yeah, you're able to, I think mostly with hearing, when you're traveling with the white cane, when I'm traveling with the white cane, I can tell by the sound of the cane on the sidewalk. Obviously, if you're nearing a building, the cane makes a different sound.
Right.
You can tell you're nearing a building. So, again, we're talking about sound and to a certain extent, feel.
At what age did you develop your visual impairment?
Well, I never had perfect vision.
Right.
When I was born, I was born with some vision. As I grew older, it got a little better. Never perfect. Could never see enough to. I never saw colors. I was always everything was in black and white.
Did you use glasses?
Yeah, contact lenses, glasses. But I could never, as far as print, I could never see anything smaller than 18-point print. And so when I was in high school, I would say freshman, sophomore in high school, I began learning Braille.
Right.
Because there just wasn't that much in large print. And I thought, well, you know what, the vision I have is great, but what if I start losing it, which actually eventually happened. So I learned Braille. And it was a blessing, because the first book I got in Braille was the Bible. And I read the New Testament, the Old Testament, and then the New Testament again. And it really changed my life. And so learning Braille was a big step for me.
How has your disability changed your view of the world?